Because of the following special broadcast, The Lucy Show and The Andy Griffith Show will not be presented this evening.
Please support the Word Balloon podcast by going to patreon.com/wordballoon. Become a part of the League of Word Balloon listeners. That's patreon.com/wordballoon. How we doing, everybody? Welcome back. It's time for Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here from one redhead to another. Kelly Sue DeConnick, welcome back to Word Balloon.
Hey. I was just typing. We could totally do the Lucy and Andy show. I think.
They'll be on next week. Don't worry.
Like typecasting. Right. We'll just step right in.
There. Yeah, I could do Andy. You're right. Now, Lucy. You're right about that. That's true. I'd be more, although as I was telling you now, hitting the big 6-0, I'm in seersucker Matlock Andy mode more than Sheriff Andy.
There you go. Well, I'm like flying, not I Love Lucy, but Lucy, the like blue eyeliner and like, fuck it. I'm oh, sorry.
You can swear. It's all, no. Are you kidding? Hon, after 30 years of the FCC, everybody gets to swear. It's totally fine in the internet. Don't worry about it.
Sweet.
Atta girl.
All
right. Way to go on FML. I'm really enjoying it. Midway through, 4 out of 8 so far.
4 out of 8, yeah.
Okay. When's 5 coming out?
June, I think.
Okay. Did you take a break?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. We hadn't planned on taking a break, but hi, I'm me, and I just am not a fast writer. And we started with a lot of runway, and David is really fast, but I blew through it really quick. And then I felt like I was starting to feel rushed, like I didn't want it to read that way. And so it was like, I know it's going to hurt sales. I know retailers are going to hate me. But it's not like I'm not trying, guys, so we had to pull back a little bit and get some runway again. And then we'll take a break to do a second arc and get ahead again. And so
cool. Yeah. That's great, man. Right away, Cal, you're getting comments. Jason says loving FML, sharing it with my daughter, and she's loving it too.
Oh, I'm so glad. How old is your daughter, Jason?
Yeah, pop it in, Jason. We'll post it. And then Gianni says, "Hey, Kelly Sue. Hey, John. Hope all is well. FML is one of the best books on the stands. Very cool. They're loving
Johnny is ace. Johnny has a podcast, I think. I know he does. I was on it. And he's awesome. He's studying. He's looking to do a comic book marketing internship, actually. So if anybody knows of one, hook a Johnny up. And Jason's daughter is 16. Well, yes. I have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old, so I got you covered.
Kel, I love that you and Fraction put yourselves in your books, because I certainly remember your co-starring role in Sex Criminals back in the day. And, well, and
no one will believe us, but all right.
Well, fictionalized versions of you both. Don't get me wrong. And it's great to see you both in FML. And I'm assuming is the kid Henry Leo?
Yeah. So all of our books are personal. but this one is like literal, you know. They are obviously not us, but they are certainly based on us. And that was a thing to navigate with the kids. Like,
yeah.
You know,
is this okay? You know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like talking to them about, you know, both of my kids consider themselves writers, and I consider them writers too.
Great.
And so we were having conversations both as a family and then also as writers. Like, so, you know, I don't feel, if I base a character on a living adult, other than like not breaking any confidences, I don't feel any particular obligation. But on a kid, it's a different thing. And so it has a whole other ethical weight. And so there was like, conversations we had to have, hey, Patrick, that were like, you know, first of all, these characters are based on you, but they are not you. They will do things that you wouldn't do. If I thought I was writing you, I would have to put them in danger in ways that I couldn't do, right?
Of course.
But I also, everyone who reads the book will know that they're based on you, and I have no interest in embarrassing you or,
sure, you
know, so
yeah,
need to like kind of figure these things out, and they've been really great. It's interesting that the book is really, I mean, I think the book is me processing the fact that Henry's about to leave the house, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not right. Like this morning when I was talking to him this morning, and he said, is it scary watching me grow up? And I said, I know, right?
Yeah.
Said, oh, that kid. And I was like, yeah, it is, but I'm not. It's not because I don't have faith in you. I have every faith in the world in you. My children are tremendous. But have I prepared them? You know, I'm scared of regrets. I'm scared of, you know, I'm scared of what it's going to feel like to not have them within arm's reach, you know? And, and it's funny because when they were little, when it was physical things, Matt was the protective parent, you know, the like, don't climb on that, you're gonna pinch your finger, the like, you know, all this, like, oh my god, they'll skin a knee, what's gonna happen, it's fine, you know, like and now, you know, Henry's like, it's 9 o'clock, can I go to the park with my friends? Matt's like, yeah. And I'm like, what park? Keep your phone, is your phone charged? Like, you know, like, I'm going to be watching, you know, like, and I worry about, like, I know I neither want to, in order to grow and to continue growing in the world, you have to be able to be uncomfortable, you have to get hurt, you have to, like, this is what it costs to be a human being.
Sure.
So I don't want to protect him from those things, but also I would like to protect him from all of those things.
Sounds like a parent to me. No, and also knowing both yours and Matt's past as much as I do, as much as you have revealed to me.
Yes.
And I also love that. And in fact, Gianni says too that he loves the back matter in the book, and I love how it is autobiographical in the back matter too.
Yeah.
But it's you guys are the most rock and roll parents that I know that have kids that are teenage kids and stuff. And no, I mean, that's the thing. You guys, I mean, Kel, were you a punk rocker? I know a lot about your background and you've revealed, but I don't think you weren't a singer, were you? Or you weren't in a band, were you?
No. I'm the least musical human being in the entire world. And it was a huge, it bums me out because actually my family, all three of them can sing and they're all very good. And Matt is one of those annoyingly musical humans that I was married to him for 5 years, and we were married for 5 years. I was pregnant with Henry. We were at a karaoke party and he gets up on stage and kills it. And I was like,
who is this man?
Keep that in your pocket for 5 years.
What did he sing?
I don't even fucking remember. It's the funny thing. It was Christmas, so it would have been it was a Christmas party, so it would have been some Christmas song or something. But yeah.
Okay. Oh God, we gotta karaoke next time we're all together. Seriously.
I will do Joan Jett because that is my go-to because she is also more chutzpah than actual vocal gifts. But my kids and my husband are all naturally musical, and it drives me nuts.
Am I right? Haven't I seen Tallulah play the guitar and everything?
Yeah, T plays guitar and sings, and she's extraordinary.
That's excellent.
I know I'm biased, but in my defense, I'm also kind of an asshole, and I'm harder on my kids than I am on anybody else's kids.
Good. In
terms of both their academics and their sort of performance. And it's not like you have to get an A, although they're both straight A students.
Great.
But you have to leave it all on the field. That's my thing is if you're doing the best that you can, I don't care what you get.
Sure.
But we are whole ass people. We are not half ass people. We bring a whole ass to everything. So yeah, if you're going to do it, you do it. So Henry switched from studying Spanish to ASL, and he was afraid that I would have a problem with that decision. And I was like, no, not at all. I think that's absolutely incredible. And you'll actually have, opportunities to use ASL anywhere in the United States, so that's an incredible skill for you to have. My only thing is if you're studying a language, I want you to study it with the expectation of fluency, whether it is ASL or Spanish or anything else. I don't want you just, going through the motions. That's a waste of your time. It's a waste of the teacher's time. It's disrespectful. So if you want to study ASL, I think that's incredible. And I am all in. How can I support you? But you're going to approach it with the expectation of fluency, not fluency this year, but eventually.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Here, give people the elevator pitch. And I got this is the cover of the first issue, everybody that's watching.
Okay.
FML.
So it is,
if you need to.
It is a story about, a mother and son living in Portland, Oregon, in a time that feels like the end of the world. It has a little bit of kind of Stranger Things, Paper Girls vibe, but it's intended to be more funny than scary, and it's surrealist. It's a weird book that doesn't apologize for being weird. Weird things happen in the book, and everybody just rolls with it. Because that's what this moment in time feels like to me, is just like crazy. You're like, oh, okay, that happened. Okay, all right, sweet. I still have to get the laundry folded. So
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Despite the world being on fire, no, God, and especially, I really do feel for you guys, and I feel for all my Portland friends too, because you guys have really been all on the front line of a lot of the craziness, pandemic and Black Lives Matter, and the craziness that happened specifically in Portland.
yeah, and the Occupy and Black Lives Matter stuff was really overplayed. It wasn't.
Oh, really?
No, it was
pretty
fine.
Contained.
It was fine.
Okay.
But you know, in fact, I'm partial to both of those movements, and
Sure.
And am of the mind that things don't, governments don't change because you ask nicely. So that's not an issue. But you know, during being in lockdown during the pandemic and feeling like the fires were closing in, and you know, the evacuation zone was within a mile of our house, and
Sure.
we're like a 3-generation family with 3 dogs, one of which weighs 130 pounds. Where are we going to go in the middle of, you know, like, so that was terrifying. And you know, having a 17-year-old son, when this moment, when it feels like the government is in free fall, and my own surprising reticence for him to leave home is exacerbated by, like, you know, he's looking at schools on the East Coast, and I'm like,
ask. Yeah.
Like, you know, usually I would be like, yes, fly, be free. I think usually, maybe I'm lying to myself, but I have always imagined that I would be like, you should go to Paris for a year, or, you know, whatever. But now I'm like, I need you to be where I can get to you in the car. Like,
yeah,
just in case the shit goes down, you know? And I don't know.
What does he want to study?
Writing.
Oh, great. Of course, as you said, they're both writing, which is great.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
He doesn't know what he wants to write, but he wants to write. I'm fascinated by my children, and I could bore the shit out of all of you by going on and on and on about them. They're extraordinary human beings. And I know some of you are parents and know exactly how this feels. But he surprised us last year by going out so they go to an art school, and he's always drawn. That's as a way of sort of processing his anxiety, honestly. And so in our minds, he was sort of the visual arts kid, and Tallulah was the performing arts kid. But he had friends that were performing arts. And so he had worked crew on a couple of shows, and he went out for the musical last year, and was amazing. And also he played like the villain, and he is the kindest, sweetest child in the world. And so it was just like to see him sort of let the monster out was like, I am fascinated by what is happening here. And he's got a lot of anxiety, and he does improv comedy. And when he's on stage, it's the only time his shoulders really drop. It's the only time he looks like a teenage kid. And so I kind of want him to perform more, because I want him to sort of be able to figure out how to bring that kind of focus that allows you to shut down the voice in your head into his more regular life. But we'll see what, we'll see. And then because Tallulah is so incredibly musical and has a real ear for language, I'm trying to nudge her towards songwriting.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, again, I've seen her noodle around on your Instagram and stuff, and strum around and stuff. No, she's great. That's great. And yeah, I get, and truly, I mean, no, it is cathartic to be able to perform and kind of get the demons out that way. So I get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, having no kids, I refer to myself as Uncle Buck. All the
time.
That's sadly true.
Everybody needs an Uncle Buck or two.
Yeah, absolutely. My sister was late to the movie, and I would do the reference. She's like, "Yeah, that is you," and I'm like, "Yeah." Sad but true. But I'm losing weight. I'm down a chin. I'm down to two chins instead of three. So I'm doing good. Getting down to fighting weight. Got a title fight coming up. I can't.
Hey, I have a powerlifting tournament on the 26th.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Hey,
you
buddy, you look great. You look fantastic. Seriously, I was telling you, you got the flowing hair right now. You're killing it.
Yeah, there you go. I need to touch up these roots though, man.
But I love the dichotomy of looking. Is it Patty Cakes? Is what's her name?
Patty Cake.
Patty Cake. Yeah. Pardon me. I love.
Her name's actually like Patricia Mulroney or something.
Yeah, but her punk name was Patty Cake. Yeah,
her punk name was Patty Cake. And
I just love the flashbacks of her in her rock days, and then her with the cat's eye glasses and her hair in a bun and stuff. And I've seen that look. I've seen that look.
Yeah, and she's got a hey Zach, thanks for stopping in.
Yeah.
Johnny, if you're still around, can I get you to do me a favor? Would you go into the Discord and post a link to this? I forgot to do it, and I would love.
And Kel, I'll put the banner up too. Tell me the URL for the Discord.
I don't know it.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah. All right. Well, if it's in the chat, if it gets in the chat, we'll put it on screen. Everybody, don't worry.
That would be so.
No.
I'm killing it.
Hon, I told you, Kel and I were supposed to talk a couple months ago, and I had a complete brain fart. Embarrassed the hell out of me, but she's cool. We've known each other a long time, so she forgives, which is appreciated.
Well, I would be the biggest hypocrite in the universe if I didn't, and also like really uptight. So yeah, it's no big deal.
But I love the art choices that David does. In fact, I've got because I love the flashbacks that are kind of scribbles. I'm going to show some art here, everybody. And here, let me get to it. So here's a good moment, and I'll put it on screen in a second. But here, while we're doing that, here we can do Zach's comment. Love FML. It's at the top of my reading stack whenever it's out. Also love the Discord. Got to get back to work, but wanted to show some love. I'll watch later. Thank you. Excellent, Zach. Very cool of you to do that. And let's see if I can do this here. Let me see. Come on. All right, there it is. All right, boom. Hopefully. There we go. And I'll shrink it a little bit so people can see. Yeah, and this is the kind of flashback moments.
Yeah, and he just slipped in another style there. That's almost like Junji Ito horror manga,
Yeah. Here, maybe here earlier. We'll get to there we go. Yeah, something like this.
Yeah. So the convention is and here's what I found. why is my watch doing that? I'm sorry.
No problem.
My David is a great pleasure to work with. I'm incredibly blessed with my long-term collaborators. I sort of, I was talk about like I fall in love with their minds, and then I'll be able to write for their hands, but I have to like the way they think. And it took me a while to figure out how to write for David. And the funny thing was, we did a run together on Captain Marvel, and I was like, I felt like, he draws everything at 11, it's like, have you ever talked to Andrea Muti?
No, but I love that work. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Absolutely brilliant. But I mean, I love Andrea. But he's like talking to it's like he's had like 6 shots of espresso, but like he's like, it's like all the enthusiasm and energies, it's Italian, and it's like, okay, we're Italian, but we're Italian American. We're a little like, okay, basta, but he David is kind of draws like that. Like he's Spanish, but he draws with this Italian energy, right? Like it's like and so with Captain Marvel, I felt like I was just chasing him. Like I could never get the energy up to match the art, right? And so the funny thing was that when the last issue we did together, I sort of was like, fuck it. And I wrote a very quiet, reflective issue. It was, one of Carol's best friends and mentors who we had been with through her cancer struggle in the course of the book, dies. And the issue is her letter to Carol. And she kind of, it's a beautiful, reflective, sort of sad issue. I mean, ultimately, I think uplifting, but I had lost my aunt, and I was leaving the book, and there was some melancholy to it, and so I wrote this really quiet issue. It was just like, I don't know how this is going to go. And then he nailed it. And it was like, I've been doing it wrong. Like, instead of trying to chase him, like I should have been like giving him beats to pull back that would help modulate the energy, right?
Sure. Yes.
So it's like, oh, good to figure that out on the
last issue. Yeah.
Well,
that's good. I read the article actually. I think it was a Dark Horse PR thing where you guys obviously that was years ago, and you guys are kind of like hoping to get back together again and obviously channel that kind of energy from him. So
yeah, I mean, we talked about doing something together again, like at the Captain Marvel premiere. We went to dinner with our families, and we're like, David was like, what are we gonna like? Let's do something creator owned. What are we gonna do? But our interests don't particularly overlap. Like, he is a big like fantasy D&D guy, and I'm like kind of allergic to elves, and like no shade, nobody get out like, I don't know, your magic wands or whatever the fuck.
No, I used to be. I read all the Tolkien stuff when I was a preteen, and literally in the last couple of years, I've kind of fallen out of love with fantasy. Where I'm just like, yeah, all right, I even Game of Thrones and House of Dragons, which I know is quality stuff, and I even met George, but it's just like, yeah, all right. I like Wild Cards better, George. I mean, I love your writing, but I'll stick to Wild Cards and superhero stuff,
I don't know. I mean, I rage quit I never read I never read Tolkien, and I never read Game of Thrones. Although I think George R. R. Martin is a lovely human being. I don't know him personally, but he seems very nice.
Yeah.
But I watched the show, and I rage quit like every other week, and then I would come slinking back. So they were doing something right, and it's not my genre. And my son, who I'm desperately obsessed with, obviously, is really into D&D and Warhammer and paints minis and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So some of my favorite people, some of my best friends are into that stuff. So don't come for me. But I tried to write FML a couple of different ways before it was called FML. The first version of it was called Useless.
Okay.
And we actually have, when we do collection, there's 8 pages drawn, not of Useless, but of like the first incarnation of FML.
Oh.
That we ended up just throwing out the window. But I was really trying to do a D&D thing, and I just was like, I can't do it. I'm lying. I'm sorry. You can tell I'm faking it. So David was like, I don't care. Do the thing that was the thing that's going to feel like the thing, and I'm going to make it work.
Cool.
And I was like, all right. And then we did the thing, and he's, none of the artists that I work with need a writer. Like, Emma can write for herself. David can write for himself. Val hasn't written for himself yet, but he could.
Okay.
And I want him to. And if anybody talks to him, and they should tell him that he should be writing for himself. I mean, I will continue to write for him as long as he will have me, but he should write for himself too, because he's brilliant. And and Phil is a writer as much as he is an artist. And
sure.
So, they don't need me. They are choosing to work with me. And so I need to honor that,
Yeah.
And David has brought everything to this book, and I just am, and the way that he's able to use these incredible disparate styles. So
yeah,
when the convention is that the mother and the son both act as narrators, and there's also I refer to them as chibi, but they're not chibi drawn the exactly the way. But so she's a cartoonist, and her son is a metal kid. So their names are Patty and Riley. And Patty's a cartoonist, and Riley is like a metal kid who draws in his notebook, skulls and things, and monsters. And so when they're commenting on the story, we have a chibi version of them, but the chibi them is drawn in their style and sort of pasted on David's quote unquote objective style. And so when something happens from their perspective, it's drawn in their style.
Sure.
W has to then make all of those very disparate styles look like they belong on the same page. And Chris Peter,
I was going to bring Chris up. Yes, go on.
Gets props for that because she sort of uses the color. She's not only a storyteller with the color, but she also uses the color to blend the art styles together.
Yes, it comes through. Absolutely.
Really
yeah, that is kind of that is when you have to lean on your colorist to kind of keep that consistency and everything. So no, I get that. That's great. And yeah, I know she worked with you on Pretty Deadly, right?
No, Bitch Planet.
Pardon me, Bitch Planet.
Jordy Belair does Pretty Deadly.
Excuse me, Jordy. I apologize. But I did want to say too with Chris. Didn't Chris work on Scalped with Gara and Jason?
Oh, did she? I don't know.
I think I met Chris in New York when Gara and Jason were still doing Scalped. I'm pretty sure.
We met her through the twins. Fabio,
oh, sure. Yeah.
Gabrielle. And
I love those guys.
Yeah, and she's just super terrific. I like her a lot. I like the way she thinks, and I like her work. And she's just she's a smart artist. She brings a storytelling perspective to her colors. And like there's a thing I'm 90% sure this is not in the script. But Mom tells a story at one point about going into shock. And she's like, so something happens, she goes into shock. And then she's like, I've gone into shock 3 times. And then she sort of tells the stories of it happening. And it's in issue 2. And Chris draws her or colors her in blue. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And it does exactly what it's supposed to do. And it's the simplest, most obvious choice, and it wouldn't have occurred to me in a million years. And it could also be done in a way that was really ham-fisted, and she doesn't. It's elegant. It's an elegant solution. So I was very, very impressed.
That sounds great. Yeah, and again, I love that in your comics, and you've been doing it really at least since Bitch Planet, that it's really a magazine experience. And, Matt did the same thing with the brothers, in fact, when they were, back matter is important to you guys when you're doing your books.
It is. I mean, these books are expensive, and
yep,
we're competing with material that is much more entertainment value to the dollar, as far as the time it's going to take you to consume it the first time, right?
Sure.
Hopefully we're giving you something that has enough layers to reward you going back through it. But value is always something that we're thinking about, and back matter is a way to really provide value. There's also, with FML, with me, the limiting factor is always time, but I've been trying to do this ARG thing with FML too, which is a alternate reality game, is what it stands for. But I'm really interested in immersive storytelling and transmedia storytelling. And so I have barely kicked it off, but I'm trying to do another story that you'll be able to piece together through these non-comics things that you can find through hints in the book and in the back matter. So like with the word search in the first issue, if you complete the word search, the letters that are left over spell out a secret message. Hey, Dean.
By all means, I was going to bring that up, but I don't want to break your train there. Where you go, yeah, there's Cal. It's been forever. Congrats on your comics and success. Excellent, Dean Haskell. Very cool.
To you as well, and thanks to you, Dean, for all your good works.
But so the word search, there's a message.
If you do the word search, the letters that are left over spell out a message that includes a URL. And if you go to that URL, there is a website there. And yeah, like
cool.
It's one of those things that like for a really long time, I sort of resisted telling anybody. And then people were not finding it. And
sure.
Like,
yeah.
We put a lot of work into this.
Yeah, so man. No, you gotta let us know, man. We're stupid.
The letters that are left and see what happens. So
that's great. Are you gonna put any? And I didn't look. Again, I'm reading the story, and then I'll get to the back matter. But are you gonna put in like QR codes? I kind of liked when Marvel was doing that, where all of a sudden, hey, look, you do a QR code. And there's a little video of the artist doing process or whatever.
Yeah. So we have a QR code for the Discord. Although hilariously, when the first issue one doesn't work anymore because the night before it came out, I didn't realize if you generated another one, it would cancel the existing one.
Oh.
The night before the book came out, I invalidated the URL.
Bummer.
It was the most FML thing in the entire world. I was like, of course I did that. Of course I did. But anyway, all of the subsequent ones work. And now I'm not allowed to touch it anymore. But yeah, we've got plans. Ethan and Griffin, the guys that do Kill Your Darlings.
Yes.
They're helping out with some stuff. And then I remember tipping all my cards here, but like Patty's favorite true crime podcast. I got some improvisers to do a couple episodes of it. And hello, Radio Dormouse. That is a very, very cute avatar you have. So 8 Minute Murders has a couple of episodes that,
so that's great. Higgins,
that kind of stuff we're trying to, and then what the part that was my intention with it that I haven't been able to focus on as much as I want is to have a narrative aspect to it. So it's not just world building, but that there's pieces that you can kind of put together and unlock more things. And I have a goal in mind of a way that a real world thing, but we'll have to see if I manage to pull that off or not.
That's amazing. I was talking to Kyle Higgins earlier this year, and he was telling me all the stuff he's doing with his books and a lot of that same stuff. And truly, you guys are all playing like 3-dimensional chess with this stuff. I mean, we're coming a long way from the 9-panel grid, and just read the.
It's really fun. I mean, I a couple years ago, I wrote a stage show for. It's still playing. It's still running at the Wynn Resort in Las Vegas. I wrote Awakening, and that, first of all, writing for dancers was like a life-changing experience.
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I had come from theater, and so even though it'd been 20 years, it really felt like
coming home.
Oh, I miss this. Oh, I'm home. Like, you know, there was a real comfort to that. But I'd never worked with dancers before, and that was phenomenal. And I had every intention. This is another ball I dropped, but there were a few dancers that were interested in writing, and I was like, oh, I would love. I'm very seldom tempted to teach. Brian and Matt are both natural teachers and very much want to teach. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot of work. But I was like, oh, I would teach writing for dancers.
Interesting.
You know, I would teach not how to write for dancers, but a writing class for dancers. I would do that.
Interesting.
Absolutely, because it was an incredible experience to work with people who think with their bodies. And, you know, I think it's such a important aspect of creativity and we tend to try to keep it separate. And so yeah, I was really, really engaged by that. But the space plays with the theater that was built for Awakening plays with some of the immersive experience stuff. And so that kind of got me interested. And then, so like specifically, there's one soundtrack that plays in the theater, and then every chair also has its own speakers, and there's a different soundtrack that plays there. So like when these things fly over your head, you sort of hear very softly the whoosh of them going over in a way that kind of can make the hair on the back of your neck stand up, you know? So it's a really, really cool way of thinking about it. And then Jay Bushman, who I was like met as a friend of a friend, I found a podcast that he had done. He was a guest on the Argonauts podcast, Argonauts, very good play on words. And he was talking about The Beast, which was the ARG around the AI movie. And oh my God, if we have any podcast producers, he has an idea for a podcast about that experience that only he could do, and somebody needs to make it possible for him to do that, because I'm dying to listen to that.
Are they taking the stage play and turning it into a virtual or forgive me if it already exists, a virtual reality experience? Because it sounds like
no, but it like that, not virtual reality, but like
immersive.
There's all these crossovers of like, you know, augmented reality stuff and immersive stuff. They're not the same thing. Like transmedia and immersive are not the same, but there's a lot of play, you know? And so Awakening was playing with immersive more, so that like you really, the show takes place 270 degrees around you, right? It's above you. It's everywhere. It's you know, except directly behind you, right?
Yeah, of course.
But so that like on if there was an immersive entertainment scale, that show would still be on the far left versus like an escape room would be somewhere in the middle, and then like the the Star Wars hotel would be very far to the right,
Okay,
where you're
okay.
like sort of living the story and living the space. Although then to be fully all the way over on the right would be like LARPing,
Of course. Yeah.
So that there's a narrative aspect to it as well.
Any good Anthony Hopkins stories, given that you got to write narration for him?
Yes.
That you can tell?
Yes. Although, I mean, they sound very self-congratulatory, but I kind of don't care. One,
that's all right.
I made him cry.
Wow.
Yes. So he was delivering. I flew to. Did I told you this story before?
Maybe, but that's I do. I know you talked about the experience of writing for him, but maybe not. So go. But I have no problem. It's been a long time, Kelsey. You can repeat.
So I flew to London to be there with the director while we were recording his lines. Yes.
Henry's
I did.
joining us. Yes, Gilthorpe scribe Henry Barajas joining us. Absolutely.
And on the way, we recorded at Abbey Road, and on the way there, I was sitting backwards in a cab that was driving like, so we got to Abbey Road and I was like, where's the restroom? And I barely got through the door into the bathroom and heaved my breakfast all over the bathroom.
You did not tell this story. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yakking at Abbey Road. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the first.
I was going to say, I remember Paul doing that when we were doing She's So Heavy.
Yeah. But it wasn't, mine was just like, I'm too old to ride backwards. I got car sick.
Oh, God bless you, kid. Me too. Absolutely.
Yeah. Nothing, no exciting substances there. But I was also like not going to tell anyone. So I cleaned it all up myself. So I'm in the bathroom a ridiculously long amount of times. I have to clean it up. I have to clean me up. I need there to be as close to like no sign of this as possible.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was barely through the door. I did not make it to the toilet.
Poor thing. My God.
Oh, it makes a funny story now to me because I love shit like this. But at the time I was just like, Actually, I think it was kind of funny at the time too. But then like I had just gotten cleaned up and came out and then he came in. But
light a match, Kel.
I know. So, but
had you spent appreciable time with him up to that point?
No,
fantastic. First impressions.
Very first time I met him. Yes.
That's fantastic. Oh my, Kelly.
I didn't tell anyone about this until after we got back home. So as far like, and they didn't know, apparently. I don't know. Baz, our director, I think was just like thought I was putting on makeup or something. But yeah, so I made him cry. And then the other thing was there was one point where he stopped and he goes, "That's beautiful. Is that Freud?" And Baz goes, "Nope, that's DeConnick." And I was like,
"Woo!"
Yes. So
wow, man, very impressive.
Those things on my tombstone.
Yeah. Jesus. Now, seriously, Kel, honestly, and we've known each other. This is my 20th year doing the podcast. We've known each other 19 years.
Yeah.
Not to age us, but seriously, I mean, really, the whole like journey that you've been on with your career, seriously, like unbelievable shit. And really, I'm so happy for all my Portland friends, you and Brian and Matt and Rucka and Jen, all of you. My God, Parker, So yeah, here, B things. Interesting point. You make mention of telling stories across multiple media. Has me curious. How do you approach keeping the infrastructure together for the whole story? Do you just embrace the ephemeral nature of it?
Yeah, I mean, my answer is not very well, but I'm trying to learn. And yes, I do just kind of embrace the ephemeral nature of it. And I think that's kind of one of the things that I love, honestly, about comic books is we're risk takers because we're sort of cheap and disposable. We're not as cheap and disposable as we used to be, but that allows for a level of risk that you just don't see in film or television, because there's so much less on the line. You can take bigger chances and bigger swings, and that's why they use us for R&D so much, is because we're cheap and fast and we're risk takers. So yeah,
that's cool. Sean, interesting question, and a project we've discussed before. Sean wants to know, I was curious about Parisian White with Sienkiewicz. I hope it's still on the schedule.
I would, and Bill would also love to see that book happen. It seems like it's cursed. Every time it's supposed to happen, something weird happens, and it still exists. I mean, there's one book written, and there's a bunch of art. Although at this point, I scripted that so long ago that I feel like I'm a better writer than I was then. Ooh. And so there is a, like if and when, and I would like it to be when, and I know Bill would like it to be when too, but it's, we do get that going somewhere. I think I want to revisit the script before we do finishes.
Okay.
Just to see if I can make it stronger. I don't know, maybe I can't, but yeah, that is a dream of mine as well, Sean.
I respect
and
that.
Also a thing that sort of, it embarrasses me that book never came out. But it is what it is.
I hear you. Dormouse, and seriously, I want to thank the chat, because sometimes they are smarter than me and think of things that, oh yeah, of course I should talk about this with Kel. This is great. When adapting manga to English, do you find it a form of storytelling? It is a form of storytelling as well, that assists with your own fiction, or was it more of a technical role? Because yeah, man, we've barely ever talked in the years we've talking about your translations of manga. So yeah.
No, I mean, I learned a lot from doing that. I was really interesting. Like when I first started doing it, I remember feeling like there was no structure, because it's not a Western structure. It was just structure I wasn't familiar with. And so I was just like, there's just no rules. This will just go anywhere, and
yeah.
which I didn't really mean as critique at all. In fact, there was something very exciting about that. But then after doing it for a number of years, I realized that like, oh no, there are structures. They're just not the structures that I'm familiar with, you know? So they're not the ones that I'm trained to recognize. But the real boon for me as a writer doing that was, it was like dialogue boot camp, right? Because I did not have to worry about plotting because it wasn't my book. It was already plotted. It was already drawn.
Yes.
My responsibility was to sort of intuit the intention of the original author and try to give each character a distinct voice in English, but in a way that was not my style. But like the thing I like to say is like, if I do my job well, my hand is invisible. I don't want you to, you know, but the flow of the dialogue should be natural in English. It should be, you shouldn't feel like I'm reading this in translation. You know, you should lose yourself in the story.
I get it. You know, are you guys watching? I am so. First of all, my brain can't handle manga. I can't drive on the other side of the road. It just But what are you gonna do? But anime has always been kind of a slow thing for me. I'm a massive Cowboy Bebop fan, and I'm loving Lazarus, the new show that Watanabe is doing. And I don't know if you guys have had a chance. They've only shown 2 episodes so far, but I was so excited to hear that he was coming back with a new series. And just as you were saying about, you know, making sure that the story is clear, what I've always read about Bebop was it was one of those great English translations that it's like, oh no, this is, you know, it is in English, but no, they got the story right. The English speaking audience is understanding what the Japanese audience got as well. So no, I haven't. I have never gotten into anime that much, but my son's best friend is super into it, so I'll have to ask her. Cool.
But yeah, no, you know what? I embarrassingly just finally watched Miyazaki not that long ago. Like, it was just, I had always been on my list, but you know, and one of those things that like, it's such a cultural touchstone that I already knew a lot without ever having seen it. But so I finally got to watch Howl's Moving Castle and sort of, but I still haven't seen the Heron. What is the new one?
I don't know the new one. I mean, I know Spirited Away, and I know I've seen a couple other ones. Yeah. But I'm not sure. Again, how about and as we talk about your translations and stuff, and forgive me, did you write Barbarella or translate Barbarella or both?
No, I translated or did an adaptation of Barbarella. I worked with a translator. My French is decent, but it's not that good. And hey, Taki.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Taki's comment, but here's that Miyazaki that you were thinking of, The Boy and the Heron.
Boy and the Heron. I haven't seen that one yet.
Finish your Barbarella thought, and then we'll get to Taki. And I'm glad you're watching, Taki. That means a lot.
Yeah. So I got to do I did an sort of updated translation adaptation of the first volume of Barbarella, and then did the second one, The Minute Eater, had never been in English before, and so I got to do that one for the first time. That book is nuts. Like, it is batshit, and I love it so much. Like, it's just like, okay, and now there's a talking ear. sure. Like, yeah, it's fucking crazy, and I loved it.
Before we get to Taki's comment, I'm nervous. And listen, it'll be what it'll be, and of course Barbarella will be fine. On the one hand, I'm like, oh yeah, Sydney Sweeney is Barbarella, and also I'm like, oh, maybe this, I hope the producers really can honor the work, because I get it from a aesthetic. It's like, sure, why not? Oh, Kel, I got to ask you, because you might know these people, because again, truly, as people know, and Matt and Kel know, you guys are like my little brother and my little sister, because we do like all the same shit. And Sydney Sweeney, I always thought would make a great Yvette Vickers biopic. And I don't know if there'd be she's the cute little woman in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. I know Allison Hayes is the giant, but the guy's cheating on her with Yvette Vickers, and she's in like the giant Gila monster, a Mystery Science Theater, movie. But I'm like, I see her, and I'm like, oh my God, she should, and like kind of the way Gretchen Mull did the Betty Page movie. But obviously, Yvette Vickers isn't the icon that Betty is, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm like, that's what I'd like to see Sydney Sweeney do.
Oh, that's smart. That's
because it's that drive-in movie period of schlock movies, and she was in Playboy, so she, it really is that kind of it girl experience, but not a Betty Page, but another woman that kind of went through that career. And also, my God, creepy, a very sad death where she was kind of found dead in the apartment. And so that crap. But all right, enough of the bad stuff. Here, Taki, your comment. Japanese comics definitely have a different approach to storytelling, and especially in pacing. So translating that must have been challenging, but you did it well. So that's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, it was fascinating. It was like, it was really cool to like kind of bust open some doors in my brain for like what could and couldn't be done. And I mean, and the thing in FML with the chibi characters commenting on the action is, I mean, that's a manga tool, 100% that we have just like culturally appropriated. But
that's all right.
Borrowed, reinvented.
Yeah, exactly. No, some of it's okay. Come on, man. I know.
I wouldn't do it. I didn't think it was okay.
You're teasing, obviously. I'm hip.
Yeah.
I get it.
But yeah, it was a lot. There's a lot of things that I prefer from Japanese comic norms versus American comic. I love their willingness to have either an empty balloon or a balloon with just punctuation. I think that's so useful, and it's a tool we just don't use in the American lexicon very much.
Yeah.
I hate off-panel tales that go off-panel. Fucking hate them. So I manga, you're much more likely to just see a tailless balloon, and I will argue for a tailless balloon if somebody's off panel, as long as I don't absolutely need to know where they are in space. It's going to be tailless, because I just like, it makes me twitch to see that thing point, especially if it's on the right side of the page. So it's, I just fucking hate it. I hate it.
I love that. Fantastic. Dorma says, I actually first saw Princess Mononoke. Mononoke. Thank you. I don't know. I was told there'd be no math today. For the first time last night, I'm a Philistine who only actively watches Bob Clampett and Chuck Jones cartoons. Well, those are good.
I don't think that makes you a Philistine.
Absolutely. And then B thinks you sent me your art, and I appreciate it. It says Princess is really great. One that Miyazaki wrote but didn't direct, that he loves, is Whisper of the Heart. It's really wonderful. Good recommendation,
cool.
Man.
Oh, I'll look for that.
That's
Boy
cool.
in the Heron is next on my list, though. I've heard wonderful things.
Bud, we got to get you with, I don't even know who has the right, and I don't even know if you'd want to do this because you've done your own thing honoring the style and the character. But you and I have always bonded over Modesty Blaze, and I would love to see you with Modesty Blaze. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, that remains my go-to answer anytime anybody is like, if you could do any licensed work, what would you do? Like, Modesty Blaze?
No interest in getting back to DC or Marvel, or never say never? What do you think?
No, I mean, I've told everybody the estate doesn't want anybody to do it, and
I see. Yeah, for Blaze, sure, okay.
Yeah, and like,
okay.
Fair, like, yeah. Okay, respect.
Hey,
like,
are you kidding, Kel? What do you think of the whole Bond Amazon and also Barbara Broccoli? Man, when she came out guns blazing in December, and I don't know how much you were paying attention to it. Yeah. I assumed you were. I'm like, way to go, Barbara. And yeah, no, it's not content. It's your family's life work for 60 plus years. Good for you. And also, I mean, I'm hearing that they had to give them $1 billion to walk away.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure we're on the same page on that one, John. But I don't want to like offend anybody.
Yeah. Also, I don't want to fuck up any potential future, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't want to offend anybody. I offend.
Really? You're not controversial at all, kid. What are you talking about?
I know. But I just mean that, like, I don't want to imply any bad acting or ill intent. But there's only one Bond movie that I love without some irony or holding my nose. And that's Casino Royale. And I love Casino Royale.
Oh God, yeah.
But there are a few things that have been done with Bond, with the Broccoli's at the helm, that I don't think were good choices. Not my storytelling perspective, not for everybody. Sure. But I Casino Royale updated the character and fixed some of the issues without betraying the legacy, right?
I agree.
And that was what made it great. And then Skyfall, there's no head shaking for me with Skyfall. Skyfall makes me actively angry. I was like, and I'm done. I'm out. No more Bond for me.
What's specific? Death of M? What?
Bond gets in the shower with the sex trafficking victim, like, without asking, like.
God, forgive me, Kel. I didn't even remember that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
that's cool.
It was.
It's not cool, but I get what you're saying. No. Absolutely, It
was fucking tone deaf, and like.
That's the tightrope they've unfortunately. And listen, I mean, more have changed. God, come on, the steam room scene in Thunderball. Holy shit!
Yeah, but all that stuff is like, that's of its time. This was made last week.
You're right. Like, yeah, you're right. No, that's true. And really, since the 80s, they've been kind of trying to walk that tightrope of, we don't want to lose Bond's character, but by the same token, we have to respect where society is now and everything. And
And the thing is, like, they act like it's impossible. Not they, like, not the Broccoli's, but like, people will culturally act like it's impossible. Well, it's just too hard to make a male like swagger cool guy who doesn't mistreat women fucking like, you know,
Yeah.
like
No, it's not.
it's not. You
Nope.
don't have to like, it's really not. And Bond was very much Bond in Casino Royale. And it was not, it did not, it was not offensive or incredulous, like, and it was this brilliant origin story. It was like they recreated him without, it was like a fucking comics soft boot, right? Soft reboot.
Oh, absolutely. 100% it was. Yeah.
Brilliant. And the thing that they did with Vesper was like,
oh, yes.
So what they did was they made Vesper was Bond, and Vesper had to die so that Bond could become Bond.
Yep.
And it was, and like even the point where he comes out of the water in the swimsuit, he's the fucking Bond girl. You know, like
100%. You're right. 100%.
He's Ursula coming out of the water in the suit.
This is why I love talking to you, buddy, because seriously, it did not even, I mean, you're right. And I mean, I remember that beefcake moment, and it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
There's not, and part of it was the genius of the casting Daniel
Craig was amazing.
Phenomenal.
I still brought myself to watch No Time to Die because I don't want to see James Bond die. And I felt it became too much of a personal story as the films went on. And so I can appreciate that. But yeah, and they blew it with Spectre. They blew
Skyfall. I like, did you see Fall Guy?
No, not yet. How is it?
Okay, I fucking love Fall Guy. Fucking love Fall Guy.
Okay.
And there's a moment.
Prime. I can watch it for free, or my subscription.
There's a moment in Fall Guy where, and I'm spoilers if you haven't seen Fall Guy, friends.
No problem.
But there's a moment where he is like, and then he falls back out of the helicopter, and that was me after Skyfall. Was like, I'm out. So.
I love that. That is so fantastic. First of all right. As I always say, hey everybody, it's Adrian's writer brother Eric joining us, Eric Palicki, and he loves it. He loves it, and also says Casino Royale was amazing. Every movie has squandered Daniel Craig. Agreed, and the goodwill of the first movie. The first 10 minutes of Spectre are better than all of Skyfall. Yeah, but man, they blew it with Blofeld, and man, you have the perfect Blofeld of a modern actor in Christoph Waltz, and he's his brother, and it's like, oh my god, that I wanted to punch somebody in Die Hard with the third movie. He's Hans Gruber's brother. Fuck you. Oh man, wow, I'm really sorry you guys took that day off on the script. Jesus Christ.
And it was just like I was 2000% in after Casino Royale. I was like,
yeah.
Hi, I am now the world's biggest Bond fan, you know, like, and I liked it growing up, you know, like I remember going to see my first Bond movie. And they absolutely nailed it. And they did, like, you can do even womanizing you know, like without just being tone deaf. Like, and it just, there was so much shit that was just like, are you? And then like the other thing about Skyfall that drove me nuts was they gave him like a Batman origin.
Oh, 100%.
They gave him Jeeves, like, you know, it was like,
I know. I mean, I liked Finney, you know, whatever, but of course. But no, I hear you. Yeah.
It was just like, I already saw the Bond origin story I wanted to see.
Agreed.
I don't want to know anything about Bond's childhood.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't want to see the fucking Batcave.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
you're right.
We should. So this will be interesting because my husband is now writing Batman, which is a property I rather famously disdain. And because it's a good thing to be on the record not liking the biggest selling thing in your entire industry. That's a move.
You're winning friends, Kel. Absolutely.
You know, I'm here to support and make friends and, you know,
not stir the pot. I'm
yeah.
hip. Yeah, I'm hip. Now, but now that Matt is writing it, is it like, you know, are you discussing the character with him? And then, you know, are you
I'm staying the fuck out of it, except for when, like, early on, I had to be like, I'm very proud of you and I want to support you. I don't understand why you want to do this, but I don't want to, like, oh, thank you.
Radio Dormouse is saying Batman's my favorite superhero, but I respect Kelly for calling like shit. See it. Yeah.
And like, here's the thing, right? It's okay to like what you like.
Of course.
Like what you like. I don't I should leave it at that. But
it's cool.
But yeah, so I mean, listen, literally my favorite human is a very important book to him, and a real, like, his first comic that he ever read was Batman, and so to be able to do this is like, you know, a super big deal to him. And was like, well, if there is anyone who could write a Batman that I would like, you are the dude. So
go with God. Exactly. Yes. Flip us off as you fall out of the helicopter. You know, Kel,
this way.
Oh, excuse me. It was cross fingers. Excuse me. I didn't think you were flipping off your husband. I thought it was like, fuck Batman or whatever, but that's fine. Kel, you killed me. And you and I were just having conversation, and you're like, oh, you know, Matt's doing the Monarch series, the Godzilla thing. And I'm like, oh, because here's something I can't stand, and no disrespect to the people who make these movies, and I know they're very successful, but the legendary Godzilla movies, I'm like, yeah, you know, I love the Toho originals, but I really was like, well, Matt's my friend. Of course I'm going to watch it. And so I'm like, all right, I hope I like it. I hope I like it. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, and really, I mean, people can hear it or watch it when I have my first talk with him about Monarch. I'm like, Matt, it's good. It's really interesting. I don't have to lie about this, because really, there are so many people that are like, hey, what do you think of my book? And can I be on your podcast? And again, folks, everybody listening and watching, you know, I'm nobody. I'm just a guy. You know, I'm just a knuckle dragger that has his own opinions, and what you like, as Kel said.
We like what we like. Yes.
Yeah. But my God, it was like, oh, Matt, and I'm bummed he's not doing the second season, but you know, that's okay. You know, whatever. Yeah. How about you? How about you with TV? What's happening with you? Like, are you still buzzing with any TV or movie stuff?
I'm still working. I can't tell you, but
okay, no problem.
But yeah, no, I'm still working.
Excellent.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We're at a spot now where we're waiting on a thumbs up or a thumbs down on a thing. So, like, cool. Been through many years long now at this point, gauntlet to get all the way to this place. So there's a lot of spots along the way where we could have gotten killed and we didn't. And so now it's the, but yeah, no, I have 3 things I'm working on right now that I cannot talk about right now, but when I can, I will tell you all about them.
Well, you're a lovely woman. I appreciate that. Yeah, and listen, if I'm keeping you from lunch, we can wrap. But okay, good. No, I'm glad to hear that as far as, you know, TV and film stuff, because obviously the strikes did nobody any favors. And, you know, I've got other screenwriter friends too that have told me the challenges post strikes and the new attitudes of the studios and stuff. And I know it is harder to get shit greenlit and everything.
Yeah.
So, you know.
No, but I'm working with people that I just adore. So, I mean, that's no matter what happens, it's been a win. So we'll see. Yes, Taki.
Taki wants to have lunch and talk about these projects.
So she and Mike took me to like Eastern European place. I think it was Ukrainian, maybe. A couple months ago. What is time, Taki? I don't know when that was. It could have been last weekend. I'm not sure. And the food was so good.
That's cool.
So good. Oh, and I came home and I did make that bread. Kachka. Yes, that was it. And yeah, it was Russian.
It was Russian, apparently. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Russian food's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I did make the bread that we were talking about, and I will make you a loaf. How about that?
Nice. They were just on. Mike and Taki and Brian came on too.
Oh, they're so wonderful.
We had a lovely hangout, as we always do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything, Kel? What am I missing? As far as what you can talk about.
Let's see. I think Pretty Deadly is in.
Yeah. Say that again, Kel. I stepped on you. Pretty Deadly
is in production. So Emma is drawing on the first issue of the 4th arc. We are slow. I am slow. Emma's not slow. It's always my fault, you guys. Always.
Especially as a writer. Yeah.
And so that is sort of origin story for Alice, for Big Alice, the Reaper of Cruelty. And it is the first one that isn't linear. It goes back in time. So it's like a flashback arc that takes place when the Vikings land in North America. And so if the first one is White Death and it's a weird Western, and the second one is Why War, and it's a war comic, and the third one is White Art, and it is a noir comic. This one is Why Love, and it's a operatic romance, sort of almost like a fairy tale.
Cool.
But like a Wagner fairy tale, you know. It's very like we talk about opera a lot in the like it's not meant to be historical, it's meant to be operatic. So
excellent.
Like, yes, Vikings in the snow. And eye trauma, you know.
Excellent. I had Emma on for her graphic novel last year.
Oh, Anzuelo.
Yeah.
So good. That was a fun thing that David did in FML is he does all this good stuff with like little Easter eggs, and Patty is wearing an Anzuelo t-shirt at one point, and she has the Bitch Planet mug, and like there's lots of shout outs to other collaborators and good stuff. So yeah,
outstanding.
Yeah. And the issue 5, which like I said, I think it comes out in June, is full of David Lynch, Easter eggs because David Lynch had just died, and so
okay, wow.
So there's all kinds of, and then there's a thing like, see if you can find all of them and send us a list. You know, so there's a lot of interactive stuff in the back matter too.
That's cool. Well, people need to Google Kel's Discord and get on there.
Follow me on Blue Sky, and I will retweet or
repost it. Yeah, repost it. That's all right.
I will repost the
Kel, I still call it Twitter. I like Blue Sky, and I'm trying to post there more. But fuck that guy. It's still Twitter.
I nuked my.
I hear you. You're not alone. I know a lot of people did.
No, I couldn't. And no judgment. I personally could not. I was like, this is affecting my sense of well-being.
I get it. No, it always was my biggest social media platform, and that's one of the reasons why I've hung on to it. And again, I can filter, I can mute.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's weird. But again, I no, Blue Sky is great. So yeah, I don't know.
It's like I had like 90,000 followers and very few bots. And I'm down like 17 on Blue Sky, but yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, as always, you're killing it, and this is great. And people need to jump on and enjoy the story of FML. We're only halfway through issue 5, apparently in June, from Dark Horse, and great stuff from David Lopes and Kelly Sue and Lopez.
When we are, there's a thing about the second arc that is a thing. So when we are in the spot where I'm able to talk about that, we will have to make plans to talk about that. And also Matt's Batman, I think, comes out in September. So we're creeping up on time to pre-order that. So
Atta girl. Excellent. I've been loving Adventure Man.
Adventure Time. No, not Adventure Time. Adventure Time also good, but Adventure Man with the Johnsons. Yeah.
And it's been great because again, I've known you and Matt forever, but I've gotten to know Terry because of Adventure Man, and he's become one of my favorite Oregonians. So
they're terrific folks.
I keep asking them to bring Rachel on and stuff, and it's like, and I get it because some, damn it, and now I'm blanking. Another collaborator with her husband is the same way, and I can't.
All right.
Yeah, it is all right. God bless you, sweetie. Yes, it is. Yeah, Laura. Yeah, I know. And I'm like, come on, man, come on.
Yeah,
and Laura did like a through the camera kind of thing. I'm like, there's Laura.
Yeah, no.
Tackle her.
Like, why would I do that? No.
Laura's
too cool for all of us.
It's fine. It's fine. Nobody. God. There are a couple of great artists who I love, and they know I love them, and they're like, I can't do it, man. I can't podcast. Busick is a guy like that. I got one interview with Busick. He's like, I don't know, man. I just never felt comfortable. I'm like, I'm never gonna bother you again. Don't worry about it. So it's cool. But sweetie, it's truly, I love catching up.
Yes. And I have to give. You had Val on recently too, didn't you?
No, it's been a while, and honestly, I'm wondering what Val's been doing. And if I can't find it, I'm going to email you and ask for his email because I love Val, and it's been a long time since he's been on. And no, he's a sweetheart. I love that guy. He's great.
Yes, he is incredibly talented. We are going to bring Bitch Planet back. No one ever believes me, but it's the book that I most need to be writing right now, but I have to get some other commitments off my plate before I can make that happen. But Val is a tremendous human being and a tremendous talent. And then also my Historia collaborators are also folks that I always want to remind everybody how incredibly talented they are. So that's Phil Jimenez and Jean Ha and Nicola Scott.
Nicola,
who just absolutely killed that book. All three of them.
Yeah. No, you did. I'm sorry, buddy, because are they not going to do the other arcs that you had planned?
Oh no, they this is so big. I said this in like a Q&A, and then like somebody made it into a headline, which I don't.
That's what happens.
Mind, but it was also like, is that really news? I mean, I wasn't trying to. I just didn't want anybody to yell at DC about it. DC has not greenlit more, but they have said, if you want to do more Historia, let's have a conversation about it.
Fantastic.
So that is where we are in Historia. And I was like, yes, let's have a conversation about that. Let me finish some things on my plate and get my kid off to school. And
wonderful.
But I can't, my plate is so full right now. I can't meet the obligations to everybody that I'm already obligated to. And I don't want to screw anybody over. So DC, they have, I don't want to like overstate it, but I wasn't trying to get anything going. I was trying to like, don't yell at DC. DC said, hey, we love this book. You did a great job. If you would like to do more, let's talk about it.
Fantastic.
That is not a green light, but that is not a no. That is an open invitation to have a conversation.
Wonderful.
So that is where we are. And I would love to have that conversation at a point where I could actually deliver. But I have a really terrific relationship with everybody there. Chris Conroy and Andrea Shea, who were our editors on that book, are absolutely delightful to work with. And yeah, I'm super big fan of everything they're doing over there right now. And obviously, like, Master and Batman. So like, hey, how about that? We're DC people, I guess. Which is funny because this. I grew up reading DC books. But it's funny because so much of our early careers were like very, very Marvel. But also I love that like the day before they announced the crossover, I had literally said to someone, like a civilian and not a lifer, who asked, like, do you think that they would ever do that? And I was like, oh no, back in the day they could do it, but they could never do it now. This was literally the day before I had said they could never do that now because of all of the corporate overlords. It would just be a rights nightmare. There's no way they could make it happen. And then the next day they were like, we're making it happen. Like, holy shit. I am delighted to be wrong. So that's just nice to see,
Yeah, I'm with you. Is Marvel still a possibility as well in the future? Because when I was asking you before about the two, you took it in a modesty blaze way and said, no, they don't want to do anything with the character. But I was really asking more about, like, never say never to DC or Marvel.
Oh yeah. Never say never. I mean, cool. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I've burned any bridges. I'm still friends with everybody over. The problem is I think we've learned I'm not a monthly comics girl, right?
Okay.
I can't. So I don't think I will ever again try to be like the regular writer on something.
Sure.
My brain doesn't work at that speed. But would I do a special or a graphic novel? Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Good deal. Well, again, we don't want it fast. We want it good. And that's the good news with FML.
That's good, because I can't do I just can't. I've tried multiple times and I can't do it. So it is what it is. Anyway.
And real fast, B Things wants to thank you for making Carol Danvers his favorite superhero. The first issue I read, she did a Jedi mind trick, and I've loved her ever since. Yeah, I've fallen victim to that Jedi mind trick as well. be things. I understand. So I get it. I absolutely do. My favorite thing, and I always bring it up, is when I'm like, "Hey, you took Ms. Marvel out of the blowout out hair and the onesie and everything." I'm like, I like pinup Ms. Marvel, and am I an asshole? And you're like, "Yeah, but put her at a superhero funeral in her thigh high boots and her onesie," and I'm like,
Yeah. Or I mean, really, John, just get yourself some like acrylic markers, and you just color in like.
I'm not that desperate, but I appreciate it.
It's really no different, baby. It's fine.
But not serious. It's all right. There you go.
Yeah, it's
not,
she's not real. She's not gonna have her feelings hurt. It's fine. You do what you need.
But just like Eva Green playing Vesper and made me fall in love with Vesper in Casino Royale, Greg Smallwood made me fall in love with Ice in Tom King's Human Target miniseries because he just drew her so Robert McGinnis, who we just lost, beautiful, and I'm just like, oh man, that's not good. I'm like, all right, I gotta talk to the shrink about this. This isn't good. I'm having...
like we can have our cake and eat it too, right? We can have look, whatever floats your boat. It's like I'm not contrary to public opinion. I am not trying to get people's comics unmade. I would like there to be more options, and and also, you can do traditional masculinity in a way that is smart and sexy and not fucking predatory. Like it can be done. And it's not that hard. And that's the thing that's like really mind-blowing to me is it's like, well, how do you write a female-led action? Like it's not that hard, you guys. Pretend we're people, and like, just like, I mean, I honestly, I think Ryan Gosling is incredible at walking that line on screen. He does a very traditional, protective, strong, funny, centered masculinity that is sexy and not neutered, whatever the fuck that means, but it's not predatory.
Yeah,
like it's not hard.
I hear you.
Like Crazy Sexy Love, even, right? Or Crazy Sexy Love. That's not what that's called. What the fuck?
I know what you're talking about, though, and I forget. I can't remember the name of it.
Crazy
Stupid Love. Yeah, Crazy Stupid
Love. Yeah, Ripley's a Badass and Alien came out in the 70s, right? And they fucked it up when they tried to, like, that's another thing I have a whole thing about this, Ryan. It was good until they over-explained it. Like, when you go in and you're like, well, how did she become this way? Let us answer every fucking question you could possibly have about... No.
We don't need it. Yeah.
No, and also, you know what Ripley's arc is? Ripley's right, Ripley's right, Ripley's right, Ripley's right, Ripley's right, Ripley's right, Ripley's right. The end. That's why I love Alien and I hate Gravity. They're both, and I know Gravity is beautifully shot. Goody. But it is a movie that is, I'm with you, Alex, although that pisses people off.
Love Alien. Alien's not so much. Yes, says Alex. Yes,
you know what it is it's like, it's an entirely different kind of movie.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So
two different directors.
It's really not even fair to compare the two, but we know. Alien, genius. But I mean, an Alien is like, oh, there's so many ideas in that movie. It's about so many things. It's it is, you know, both Alien and Gravity are very simple man versus nature stories, but Gravity reads like it was written with a copy of McKee's story open, so you could chart along and like, we have to know. But what's her motivation? Like, fuck you. Her motivation is shit's flying at her face, you know. And it just when everything becomes over explained, it ends up having the emotional weight of a Hallmark card. And I hate it. The end scene.
Exactly. Thank you. Mic drop. Indeed. Cal,
Yeah.
This is what I love about you, hon. And seriously, I've always loved this about you, because I have always appreciated your point of view, and to know you're not, despite some of the things hung on you, you're not an asshole. I mean, that's the thing. And it's like, no, again, I think it's very reasonable to have a strong man who's not a predator. And again, I don't think that's asking that much. No, I agree.
It's not her. And like, the funny thing is that I am a child of the 70s, right?
Yes, I know.
Like, I fucking Lee Majors, Robert Conrad, that is my shit, you know? Like,
I get it.
I have a visceral affection for a lot of, like,
The old way.
You know?
Yeah.
And we don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And, you know, and if you offer critique, you're not saying, I want no more men, or I want all men,
Neutered men,
you know, to whatever the fuck that means, or, you know, whatever. And I also think it's really interesting too, the way there's some stuff happening with the performance of gender right now, and I gotta let you go, but
I don't mind this moment, please.
Like, I'm really intrigued by Harry Styles, who I know very little about, but he is playing with personal style, with like these he'll wear very traditionally feminine or even effeminate clothing, but somehow performs it in a way that is really masculine. And I'm so confused. I'm like, how do you do that? I don't understand what is happening. And I think it's probably a little bit of a throwback to some of the early glam rock stuff, but that I was just a little bit too young. You're a little bit older than I am, but I was a little bit too young to, like, I really needed to be a teenager at the time to get that. There's some like fascinating and not all dated quote unquote hyper masculine characters are predatory either. Like, two of my absolute fucking favorites, Jim Rockford, right? Like,
yep.
And actually, what's his name? Gregory Peck.
I love Gregory Peck. I love Gregory
not a particular role, but Gregory
but the
Peck,
demeanor, yes.
Yeah, but now he wasn't an action hero, really.
Well, he made westerns and war movies, but no, you're right.
Yeah, but he had a kind of dignified strength that was very masculine, but very like healthy and non-predatory.
How about Columbo?
I don't know that I would, because Columbo plays dumb. So I fucking love Columbo. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love Columbo. And one of my absolute favorite films of all time in my top 5 movies is Wings of Desire.
Oh God, yes, Wim Wenders, absolutely great. That whole thing when Peter Falk is playing himself. Yeah, I used to be an angel. Yeah, I know what you're doing. The best. The best.
So
it is.
Good. It's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ryan, have you seen Wings of Desire? If not, that is your assignment. I want you to go see Wings of Desire, or you can go see Wings of Desire.
And don't see the Nicolas Cage one. You got to see the German one.
Oh yeah. No, there is no. Just like there is only one RoboCop, there is no Nicolas Cage Wings of Desire. There is one Wings of Desire. It is a German movie. You are not allergic to subtitles. You will be fine.
Exactly. Yes.
And Peter Falk is in it as himself, and he is brilliant. It is very slow by today's standards, but it's slow in a way that's really beautiful.
It's epic. It's one of the great fantasies that works. I love it. I never Far Away So Close, was that the follow-up that he did?
Yes. And there's a documentary on Wings of Desire that I think is on YouTube.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's what sucks about the loss of physical media, although there are still companies that do it, and I have friends that still make special features. But man, we had that golden age when DVDs were brand new, and all those documentaries and the commentaries. I told a friend of mine who used to make them all the time, I'm like, I would like support a channel that is just making of and commentaries, because all that stuff is just fascinating. So yeah.
Well, I mean, there's so much of that happening in the podcast world, right? And it's not. I tend not to listen to. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I tend not to listen to podcasts. Actually, that's not true right now. I was going to say I tend not to listen to podcasts that are about
existing media.
That I feel like I would like. Oh, I haven't seen that in such a long time. I would now. I have to watch this in order to, like I tend not to do that. But I made a really bizarre exception because my husband and daughter were watching Yellow Jackets together. It's true. Everybody will be fine. Subtitles are fine. You can read. It's okay. You're good. But my husband and daughter were watching Yellow Jackets together, and I don't have time right now to like sit down and mainline, 3 seasons of television or whatever, although they've just wrapped it up. But I so wanted to be in on the conversations that while I was like doing the household chores, I'm like working on remodeling Tallulah's room right now. So I'm listening to podcasts about a show I've never watched, or have only watched like 2 or 3 scenes of, which is a weird choice, but there you go. So,
Kel, you've done it again. You know, in terms of, truly, I was like, I don't want to keep you too long, but I love that, buddy. I swear, as I've told a lot of my friends, you guys could be on every month, and I'd be like, sounds good to me.
I feel like, it takes us a good 45 minutes to get warmed up, and then we're like, all right, let's go.
physically and metaphorically letting her hair down, everybody.
Yes, there you go. Now she's putting it back up.
Now she's putting
right?
it back up because we're done. Exactly. You're killing me.
Yeah. Yellow Jackets. I had the same sort of feeling about Yellow Jackets, she says, with no authority whatsoever, because she doesn't actually watch the fucking show, that I have about Game of Thrones, like that thing where it's like I'm like tempted to rage quit this constantly, but also there's something really compelling about the world building that's like, oh, I need to know what happened, so I'm going to listen to the next episode. So anyway.
Well, along with Taki, Oming was watching as well. I want to acknowledge that. That was Mike. Great. Hey, Mike. And also quick note, Alex Ross, the sponsor of this show, The Legend of Kingdom Come, the documentary, available at alexrossart.com. There's going to be a screening of it here in Chicago at the Music Box Theater, our Showplace Theater.
Oh, and, wow.
I will be there. I may be moderating. We're seeing if there's time for a Q&A or not, depending on the theater's schedule. But, well, and, you know, I'm one of the talking heads in the documentary, which is an incredible honor. And, so, and I believe I know the answer to this, but real fast, you know, David wants to know, you still talk to Phil, don't you, Jimenez?
Weekly. Yeah, we had a weekly phone call on the calendar during Historia, and we just never took it off.
Yay.
So how about that?
Yay. Yeah. Well, I thank you, because you're the one that, I mean, I knew Nicola and Gene already for years, but really you helped me get to know Phil better. And I think Phil's more comfortable with me because of you. So I thank you for that.
Wow. Well, you're both good dudes. So.
Well, you're awesome for saying that, sweetie. It means a lot. You know that. Yeah. So, and you know, I think the world of you and your family. All the best.
Thank you. Check out FML, you guys. Love you.
Yes. And thank you, honey. And well, a few months, we'll check back in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Rocking. Thank you,
All
Kelly Sue DeConnick. Thanks everybody for watching. Until next time, everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.